This is Nightline.
Tonight, is Wendy Williams well? Under court-appointed guardianship, the new game-changing allegation from her team.
She does not have frontal lobe dementia. She does not. So that should be game, set, match.
Fans seeing her go from beloved talk show host
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
to dazed and disoriented in this shocking Lifetime documentary.
Did you drink this whole thing today?
What her team says was really going on with her health behind the scenes.
Who should the public believe?
Plus, Jessie J, Grammy-nominated voice behind hits like Bang Bang,
We're ready. Let's do it.
getting candid about her recent health battle.
I felt a lump and I said, oh, that doesn't feel right.
What she said superstar Justin Timberlake had to say about her making new music.
I don't think this is the comeback. I think this is the warm-up for the thing.
And the nominees are, from the biggest hits like Abbott Elementary,
You know, guys, I still think it's going to be a great year.
to the brightest stars including Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande of Wicked for Good.
Think of what we could do together.
The Golden Globe nominees revealed.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, a potential game changer in the health saga, a former talk show host, Wendy Williams, off the radar for more than a year in a court-appointed guardianship program. Her legal team now claiming that a new report should secure her release. Wendy Williams, former talk show titan and pop culture queen, is still fighting for her freedom.
How is Wendy doing?
She's doing great. I mean, she's Wendy, you know. A lot of people's knees would have buckled at this point. Not her.
The former talk show host was once at the top of the heap.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Her hot topics, the talk of the town.
Guess who's jealous of Adele? Beyonce.
But her health took a steep fall. Diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia and placed in a guardianship. The grim state of her hiatus from public life laid bare in the Lifetime documentary, Where is Wendy Williams?
Did you drink this whole thing today?
Living in a locked memory care facility, Wendy has been on a public campaign for almost a year to get out of her guardianship.
The terms of Wendy's guardianship seem to be extreme. I've spoke to her several months ago, and she just sounds like the same Wendy. Yes, is she quirky? Sure. Is she eccentric? Sure. She always has been.
And now a new revelation. Her team says a new medical evaluation ordered by Wendy's court-appointed legal team finding she does not have frontotemporal dementia.
She does not have frontal lobe dementia. So that should be game, set, match.
I think a new medical evaluation from Wendy's team is a game changer.
This new evaluation could mean everything for Wendy Williams, because if she is capable now of taking care of her own health and her own finances, there may not be a need for a guardianship.
Wendy began her public battle to break out of her guardianship first on The Breakfast Club.
I am not cognitively impaired, you know what I'm saying?
Speaking to Nightline.
I'm telling you, this is like being in prison.
You look so good, girl.
Even reemerging into the spotlight at New York Fashion Week this fall.
How does it feel to be dressed up tonight, Wendy? Oh, my God, Wendy.
It's very scary that someone like Wendy Williams could be in that position, because it is a situation that she just can't get out of right now. And she's been trying for years.
She recently hired high-powered attorney Joe Tacopina, who represented President Trump in A$AP Rocky.
You and I could go take a walk downstairs right now. We'll find 5 people in an hour who belong more in a guardianship program in a facility than Wendy Williams.
Tacopina says top-rated neurologist Dr. Samuel Gandy at New York's Mount Sinai performed Wendy's latest evaluation. Nightline reached out to the hospital and they declined to comment. ABC News was not able to obtain the report to independently verify its findings. Tacopina says that Wendy was struggling in the past, but it was not from frontotemporal dementia.
There's something called alcohol-induced dementia, okay? That may have been something Wendy was suffering from back in 23, 24. She was an alcoholic, no question about it. Wendy was drunk almost 24 hours a day. She looked like she needed help. She did need help. She needed alcohol rehabilitation.
What I hear you say is that there was a point in Wendy Williams' life where perhaps she needed guardianship because of her challenges with substance abuse.
Yeah, but that's not guardianship. That's counseling, right? I mean, everyone in AA gets a guardianship. I mean, the country would have, the streets would be empty.
Alcohol abuse can cause various neurologic symptoms, including memory problems, behavior changes that can sort of mimic dementia. Alcohol-related brain damage can improve. Not all patients will have improvements, but some patients will have really dramatic and substantial improvement as they stop drinking.
Wendy's new evaluation stands in contrast to her long-standing prognosis of frontotemporal dementia.
Frontotemporal dementia is not your average dementia. Unfortunately, there's no cure for FTD. It is a progressive neurodegenerative condition, which means that it gets worse over time.
It all started in January when Wendy spoke out to friend Charlemagne the God on The Breakfast Club.
Look, for the last 3 years, I have been caught up in the system. This has been 3 years I'm caught up in the system.
It was the first time the public heard from Wendy in nearly a year. Fans immediately called for Wendy's release from the guardianship.
Free Wendy. Free Wendy. Free Wendy Williams.
And Wendy continued to dispute her FTD diagnosis, including on a call with me from her assisted living home.
Do you think you have dementia?
No. That's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. Frontotemporal dementia? How dare you? And I'm not saying you, because I've been accused of having that. And how do you prove it? By keeping me locked here. So that I can't see. Look, I can't go out. You have to have keys to open the door, to hit the elevator to go downstairs. Keys.
On our call, Wendy detailing life in the high-end assisted living home she's required to stay in due to her guardianship.
Can you describe where you are right now?
Yes. Well, as I've said, because it's a fact, this is the memory unit. That's what this floor is called, the memory unit. And it is true that these people who live here don't remember anything. Some of them are in their 60s, some of them are in their 80s, some are... look, I don't belong here at all. This is ridiculous.
Are you able in this facility to move about, to leave when you want to leave your room when you want to?
Well, I leave my room to order lunch. Everything is on this floor. And by the way, I have everything right here in the bedroom because, you know, these people that live here, you know, they're nice people, but it's not my cup of tea at all. And it's really expensive where I am. $18,000 a month out of my money.
In the wake of all the pushback, Wendy's court-appointed guardian ultimately agreed to have her health reevaluated. According to court documents, that evaluation was completed in August, but results of the evaluation are not public. However, People magazine exclusively reported that same month that Wendy's dementia diagnosis was upheld.
It was reported her original diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia and dysphagia were upheld. Do you agree with those results?
No, I don't agree with those results because I've not seen those results. We don't know who the doctor is. We've not seen the report. So I don't want to hear it.
There were a group of doctors who said, yes, she has a form of dementia, period, full stop. Now there's a new expert who said she doesn't. Who should the public believe?
The new expert, because he's the top.
There's not one test that gives us a black and white answer as to whether or not someone has FTD. So there is a certain amount of clinical judgment and clinical opinion that goes into making that diagnosis. And it's possible for different neurologists to have different opinions.
Wendy's legal team now getting ready to file her new medical assessment to a New York court and demand her guardianship be terminated for good.
What's the plan you have to get her out of the guardianship, and when can we expect some movement in court?
The plan is this. There are guardianship attorneys, and we're watching and waiting. They've assured Wendy by year's end she'll be out of guardianship.
What's going on with this guardianship?
Wendy was originally placed in a guardianship in 2022. The court appointed Sabrina Morrissey as her guardian.
Through a number of evaluations and assessment, both of her health and her finances, a court felt that a guardianship, someone appointed to take care of her finances and health, was necessary in her situation.
But with the latest medical evaluation, Tacopina says those conditions don't apply to Wendy anymore.
No guardianship should feel like a sentence. And honestly, Wendy's does. Wendy's feels like a sentence.
In whose interest is it to keep her in a guardianship if, in fact, it's not deemed necessary?
Yeah, that's a great question. A cynic would say, oh, the guardian gets paid a lot of money to be the guardian in this case. Wendy's money.
When I talked to her, she said it was $18,000 a month she was paying this
Approximately,
facility.
yeah, imagine. Just imagine of her money, not the state's money, her money, for a place where she is imprisoned for all intents and purposes.
In a previous statement, an attorney for Morrissey told ABC News, because the case is under seal, Morrissey could not defend herself from the multiple claims against her, adding that Ms. Morrissey emphatically denies any wrongdoing, mismanagement, or self-dealing with regard to Ms. Williams' guardianship, and that all the court-appointed guardians' activities are regulated and supervised by the court.
The guardianship has pushed back and said, look, she has had access to her family. She has left the facility to attend particular events, and she's not being mistreated, and that she's receiving proper medical care.
Really?
What say you?
Okay. What I say is she's had access to her family when the guardian gives her permission to have access to her family. And some days she gets permission to do it. Mm-hmm. Some days she doesn't get permission to do it. And Wendy Williams does not drink alcohol. That's a fact. So where's the danger?
Tacopina says he will fight until Wendy is able to have control of her life once again, perhaps another shot at the limelight.
I think she'd love to get back in the entertainment industry. I don't think television maybe.
I think Wendy can do anything. I do. I would not be surprised at a Wendy comeback.
For much more in this story and how Wendy ended up under guardianship, watch Impact by Nightline, What's Happening with Wendy Williams, now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. When we come back, Grammy-nominated singer Jessie J opening up about her health battle and her moment with England's Princess Kate.
She just said thank you. She know, I know you've gone through a tough time, and I said, I know you have too.
Welcome back. Jessie J is pulling back the curtain on a major health scare that arrived just as everything in her life seemed to be aligning. The Grammy-nominated singer tells our Maggie Rulli she handled the news by jumping right in and taking her 10 million plus social media followers along on the journey.
She's the Grammy-nominated voice behind hits like Bang Bang and Domino.
Hello, everyone.
The delightfully effervescent
Hello back there.
Jessie J.
We're ready. Let's do it.
And this morning, the 37-year-old mom is getting candid about the shock breast cancer diagnosis that came last March, just days before she was set to return to the music world after a 4-year hiatus.
When I got diagnosed with breast cancer, I wasn't scared. I felt a little bit out of control. But I'm a sharer, and I wasn't going to sit at home and cry about it. And it's just given me deeper perspective, and I'm really riding that wave of living in the moment and, like, enjoying life.
Can you take me back to the moment when you first realized something was wrong?
I felt a lump, and I said, oh, that doesn't feel right. And I went and got looked at, had an ultrasound, they were like, everything looks fine. And I said, but I've got this achy arm, and I feel like I kept waking up with pins and needles, and all these, like, things going ping, 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 ping. Maybe this is what it's like. Is that anything? They're like, okay, with those, let's do a biopsy. I remember phoning my mum first, and I was just like, well, I can't die because I have Sky.
With her 2-year-old son, Sky, and partner, Hanan Coleman, by her side, Jessie J underwent a mastectomy in her right breast in June, documenting the process for her more than 14 million Instagram followers.
I know you said that you're a sharer.
Oh, yeah.
So why was it so important for you?
Yeah, no. Cut the cameras.
But why was it so important for you to share all of this with the world?
And I'm just like, we need to talk about these things. I've been very lucky, super lucky to find it so early. It wasn't invasive, thank God. I know there's a chance it could come back, but until then, we're living life.
The singer-songwriter recently sharing this moment of connection and a hug with Princess Kate.
Did Princess Kate say anything to you mom to mom?
She just said thank you. I know you've gone through a tough time, and I said I know you have too. And I just said I just want to acknowledge, like, mum to mum, you know, cancer survivor to cancer survivor. I see you and I feel you. Can I give you a hug? And she said, of course you can. I'm grateful that she received it in the way it was meant.
Now 8 years since her last album, Jessie J is back with Don't Tease Me with a Good Time, singing about the highs and lows of the past few years. From HAPPY, with a video that includes a special cameo from Sky.
No, he's just honestly the love of my life. I went through many journeys to find him. And I'm just so grateful that he held on to me.
To the emotional, I'll never know why, about the death of her bodyguard and friend.
This album covers the journey of grief to finding joy again and the circle again.
Your album's like a therapy session.
Yeah. I remember Justin Timberlake saying to me once, your music needs to be like a slice of your life. And I feel like this is like a pizza. You know, like it's not a slice, it's a full pizza, but they kind of all go together. And I don't think this is the comeback. I think this is the warm-up for the thing.
Our thanks to Maggie. Don't Tease Me with a Good Time is available now. When we come back, from Wicked for Good.
I'm off to see the wizard.
To one battle after another. Who's in line for this year's Golden Globes? And finally tonight, it's that time again. This year's Golden Globe nominations. It's our Nightlight.
Elphaba, they're coming for you. Just look at me.
Both stars of Wicked for Good, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, up for the Golden Statues this year.
Think of what we could do together.
Wicked, though, passed over for Best Musical or Comedy, despite its huge success. Not passed over, Abbott Elementary.
You know, guys, I still think it's going to be a great year.
The three-time winner in line for another this year for Best Musical or Comedy TV Series.
So excited.
My child comes from a whole line of revolutionaries.
Globe's frontrunner, one battle after another, with 9 nods, including Leonardo DiCaprio for Best Actor. And Emma Stone receiving her 9th Globes nomination for the dark comedy Begonia.
Can we have a dialogue, please?
K-pop Demon Hunters up for 3 honors, including for the all-in anthem, Golden. And that's Nightline for this evening. Catch our full episodes on Disney Plus and Hulu. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.